by the air conditioner? Are you okay?
No, we're
No,
good.
not at all. You sound great.
Awesome.
All right, here we go. Scott, we're 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to episode 149 of the Narcissistic Music Disorder.
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How you doing?
I'm not bad at all. I had an opportunity yesterday. I played a gig at the Burning Foot Beer Festival, and I got an opportunity to hear some bands, which I don't get to do all the time. So I heard a duo called Medicine Men. They were great, but I heard this young band called The Illustrated. Have you heard
Yeah.
of them?
No.
Like all kids from Atlanta School of Music. And I say kids. My guess is they're early mid 20s.
Okay.
Just phenomenal. They all original songs, great writing, atmospheric, cool guitar. Like I said, all of them music. They had a fill-in bass player. This young lady was filling in on bass, and she was just a phenomenal musician. It was really cool. So it was, you know how it is when I see young musicians. I'm always like excited and inspired, and then
Yeah.
then I hate them on the way home because I just know that my time is ticking, and they're literally putting the last nail in my coffin
Yeah.
as I watch them and buy a t-shirt. So what do we got going on today, bud?
Today we are joined by a longtime friend. I graduated with his twin brothers, James and Jeremy,
Okay.
from, I think, are you in LA, Kiff?
I'm in LA. Yeah.
From Los Angeles, Kiff Vandenheuvel,
Thank
What's
you
up,
for being
guys?
here, man.
Oh,
Thank you for
man.
coming.
voiceover actor.
Yep. On camera actor, teacher. What else? Jeez.
Podcaster.
Podcaster.
Oh, okay.
Music fan. Animation voiceover actor, video game actor.
Wow.
Father, husband, brother. All
So
those
The
things. Speed racer
you're in the
fan.
new Superman and the new Fantastic Four, your voice.
Yes, sir. Yep. I play the Kryptonian translator of Kal-El. So when you hear or when you see Bradley Cooper telling a spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen Superman yet, but when Kal-El is speaking, when you see Bradley Cooper, they in the English translation is me, and then in along with a variety of other voices in the film, but it's a pretty important scene in Superman where I
Cool.
get to express my voice. And then in Fantastic Four, I do quite a bit of voice work. I'm the voice of the cartoon version of the Thing. In the movie, I'm also sort of the Walter Cronkite of Earth 828 in that film.
Okay.
And it was a pretty amazing experience. It's probably the most work that I've done in a feature film, certainly for Marvel.
You've
And I've done
worked
voice
for
work in a bunch of Marvel pictures.
in DC, right?
Yeah, I've done stuff for DC as well. I played Officer Mazzucchelli in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, and God, I did some
Star
ADR and
Wars,
yeah, I played Han Solo in Star Wars: Forces of Destiny. I've done Star Wars: The Old Republic. Wide variety of
Family
stuff.
Guy.
Yeah, I played Tom Hanks. I did an impression of Woody in on Family Guy. Where
Like I remember that scene.
yeah, Buzz Lightyear's in the bed with Bo Peep, and he comes in.
Yes. So let me ask, now the question that begs to be asked is, how does that happen? Does someone hear your voice? How do you get into that field? Did someone hear you speak and go? Because I've said it to people. I know you guys have too, where you're at the drive-through window and you're like, oh my gosh, you have a phenomenal speaking voice. You should do audiobooks or whatever that is. Was it that sort of situation?
No, I mean, I've had people say that to me over time. I mean, I remember the most I got it, truthfully, when I was working in Tennessee. I had been crewing and working on television shows and stuff like that when I was living in Tennessee. But when I was working at the Camelot Music and working as just like a guy behind the counter, and people would tell me that, like, oh, you have a really great voice. But I wouldn't think that I was like an announcer. But even when I was growing up in the schoolyard at Cutlerville Christian, man, I would do impressions of cartoon characters all the time. You know, Yogi Bear and Scooby-Doo and Sylvester and that kind of stuff. I just had a good ear. And it wasn't until, and I, got into sketch comedy and improv, and I would do impressions and stuff like that in scenes to get laughs, but I never thought that it was a job. I understood that Don Misick and Dawes Butler and Mel Blanc. Those guys had originated those voices. They were doing those voices. And, it was fun to do impressions, but I didn't think you could necessarily get work doing that, doing the jobs that those guys had already done. It didn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah,
But then
I
when I
love
was,
your Gordon Ramsay is fantastic.
oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah. Anyway,
Do you have a favorite? I mean, it's like asking a
man.
musician, do they have a favorite? But is there some voice you do that has qualities that either challenge you or bring out the
Sure.
best in your work? Is there a couple favorites?
There's different ones for different reasons. Like, I believe that, my favorite ones are guys I love to do because I love them.
Right.
Like I'm going to boost my mic so I don't have to project because it's hard to do them. But like Harrison Ford is down here and lives in this part of my voice. So Harrison is one of those guys. Nicolas Cage, I love doing Nick because he's fun, but also because I played Grug, the caveman he was in the movie The Croods. I played him on an animated series for DreamWorks. So I played Grug on the Croods Family Tree.
Wow.
Robert Downey Jr., a lot of similarities vocally to Nick Cage, but then it's all about the difference. The placement's similar, but the phrasing is different. So like, you can hear his sort of, glib kind of here, Pepper, look, so like the way he delivers lines is very different. So like you really do have to acclimate versus Michael Keaton, which is, look, some people get up every morning, they put a pants on, look, forget it. I'm Batman. So like Michael Keaton has a totally different energy versus, I've always, everyone has a Sean Connery impression, huh? Everyone has a Sean Connery, but my Sean Connery is rooted in his advice, yeah? So like, I don't know. I've always loved playing with it, but then figuring out where the placement is in my voice just to better understand vocal separation. So if you can get high notes like Bugs Bunny's up here, yeah? I could never do the placement before when I was a kid because when you're a kid voice, you don't necessarily have the ability to place it. Then Tom Hanks is, so like my magic trick is like Vince Vaughn is here, right? Like Vince Vaughn is talking fast and he's in this sort of placement, but then when you slow him down and put a tie on him, it's Tom Hanks. So like kind of stuff, and you start to play with those placements and explore with your voice, you can do all kinds of different things.
So you really do. You hear the human speaking voice, you hear that probably if it's something you're thinking of mimicking and of doing an impression of, you probably start instantly going, okay, here's where I place it in my voice. You start listening to how the vowels are
sometimes
all that stuff. That's
sure.
Because everyone thinks you should know, we all think we can do impressions and none of us can. The layman, we think we have one and it's never good. And we do it at every party and we think we're funny. But when you hear, like when listening to you just now, it's like, those are, you don't need to say who it is. Like when we do our impressions, we always have to go, hey man, that's, whatever it is. That's my Sean Connery. And someone goes, oh man, I thought that was your, Crocodile Dundee.
The interesting thing is when you think about a Sean Connery, a Christopher Walken, a Macho Man, Randy Savage, Crocodile Dundee, some of those guys have got really broad mannerisms. So they're easy to grab onto. Everyone can do a Christopher Walken. My Chris Walken isn't very good, but I haven't worked on it because everybody does one. Once Jay Moore cracked the code on Saturday Night Live, that was it. Yeah. Same thing with Sean Connery. Everyone's like, sure. This sound, yeah? Macho Man Randy set. Like everyone you find that thing.
Right.
Brother, the Hulk Hogan, the brother. Like when you find where that texture is, you combine those things, then you can get a laugh. That's all it is. Like it was the same thing with the cartoon characters. Like Zoinks, man. Like, hey, Scoob. We all would like have those things. And if you could get a laugh, that was all you needed to do.
Right.
So,
wow.
But then the trick is how do you do, matching in a trailer that's where it starts to become like literally voice matching is part of my job. And it's not necessarily even impressions. It's literally voice matching. We have the sound of this actor. This actor has either passed away or this actor has not given us permission to use their voice, or they're trying to change the dialogue. So like in the movie trailer, it's a 2-hour movie. Now it's a 2-minute version of that movie. We're trying to take with Tom Hanks, for example. Tom Hanks says, we need to find this piece and then we have to find our way to Paris. Well, to cut that together to say we have to get to Paris, in the trailer, it sounds like we have to get to Paris. And the trailer sounds crazy. So then they have to, rather than bring Tom Hanks in, they find someone like me who can match Tom Hanks and make it sound like it's not crazy.
Right, like it's spoken
exactly
in the moment.
It's just to tighten the story and to make the story work. So, and I'm cheaper than Tom Hanks, and it's part of the process. So
that's killer.
And everyone, and instead of playing Tom Hanks there, I'm playing the character he's playing, if that helps. So so then you can hear I'm dialing into that voice where it's like I'll record 5 times on that line. We have to get to Paris. We have to get to Paris. We have to get to Paris. And I give them options, and then they choose, and if they use it, then they cut me a check. And then that's the job. You know,
that's killer. Well, that is awesome. That's insight right there that I'm certain that a lot of our listeners don't have. I certainly didn't have, because you always wonder, like, there'll be those, you know, super A-list Hollywood stars. You'll hear their voice pop up on a Family Guy or something, and you're like, there's no, or even, you know, some of those types that, you know, are pretty sensitive about their image, about how they're playing. Of course. You hear them on a show that's parodying them, and you're like, there's no way you'd give your voice to, you know.
I mean, the guys on South Park imitate everybody, you know, and they don't even try to do a good impression. But that's not the point. That's not the point. And on Family Guy, you know, and, you know, All American Dad or some of the Seth MacFarlane shows, you try to get close because you're trying to give an impression of the vibe, and that's the intention. So, you know, that's it.
Amazing. Amazing.
So what we do, Kiff, is we all take a turn. We do what we call pick 5. So for people who haven't heard, we pick a rock album, a pop album, a power pop album, a country album, a jazz, blues. What do we got?
Jazz, blues, R&B.
And then we have an NMD record, which is your weird or obscure record that people don't know about. So
Scott, I need to chime in. For number 2, you said power pop. It's
pop
any
or
pop.
Power pop.
Pop. Okay, good.
Any pop.
Any pop. And now I've said this too, like these categories, as somebody could be, you know, could say, well, why are you separating? We basically have separated this thing like the record store, right?
Okay. Love
it. There was always a bin of that was literally R&B, blues, you know, et cetera, et cetera. There was the country stuff. There was, you know, pop music. And, you know, you certainly weren't looking for your Megadeth album where they kept the Whitney Houston albums.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, let's do this. Let's have Kiff open us up. I have our guest open us up. What did you have for a rock album that's really spoken to you?
My rock album is going to be, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, we'll be the judge of that.
All right. Van Halen.
Oh,
hang on. 5150. Here's why.
Lay it on me.
Here's why. I did not think that the Sammy Hagar version of Van Halen was going to be my GOAT. It shouldn't have been, because the David Lee Roth era is what I value programmed on. 1984, Diver Down, like those albums are just absolute bangers, man. I came up on that stuff. But there's something about 5150 that I just keep coming back to. The sound of the direction that the band went under Sammy at the beginning was so, oh my God, so late 80s, early 90s and defining. And for me, it's less about necessarily the music, but it's who I was at that point in high school, early college. Like, the song Right Now, oh my God, like there's just, I mean, I want to look at the track listing just because I'm like conjuring up so many just moments from that thing. Like the moment like Hello Baby comes on and they come into Eddie's riff at the beginning of it, it's great. But then the deeper this you get into the album, the more of a journey it takes you on. I remember I was doing a commercial campaign for this company in Stockholm, Sweden called Post Nord Logistics. The character I was playing was like the ultimate sort of crazy American like reporter. Like he was just sort of like, I don't know, kind of stuck in the 90s. And my soundtrack for this character was 5150. And I had it in my headphones the whole time. And I was just absolutely rocking out to it to the whole time. And it just reminded me of how great that album is and how many fantastic tracks there are on it.
Yep.
Can I throw in a runner up that's right next door to it?
Sure, please do.
Tom Petty's oh my God, Full Moon Fever. That album, that entire album should be a greatest hits. When you start that album at the very beginning to the end, it sounds like you're listening to Tom Petty's greatest hits, and it's not. What Jeff Lynne did with that album and what Tom and the Heartbreakers did is absolutely undefeated. I think if you take those two albums and smash them together, you have my teen and 20s smashed into one super album.
Were you a Sammy Hagar fan before?
Not really.
Okay, I was a huge Sammy Hagar fan. So to think, and I was like you, I like most of us of this age, kind of grew up on that first Van Halen.
Come on, that Jump video. I mean, it
was everywhere.
MTV and David Lee Roth and all of it was just like it was my introduction to rock. Like, and then when Def Leppard Pyromania hit, like we all dubbed it. Like it was awesome. It was just a different sound. Like I remember WGRD and WLAV, like when I was growing up, like that was the place you turned for great music. But like when I think rock, even with the 70s and with the 80s, like there's something so defining about that sound of bridging my youth to my adulthood.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
What a great record. Good call.
There you go.
I mean, I still tell people, and we have these conversations to this day. People go, "Oh, I only like David Lee Roth era," or blah blah blah. I loved Sammy Hagar already, so I had that, and I thought, well, I still have all those old Van Halen records, so I still have that band, and I have this new band with stuff that like Summer Nights and Good Enough off there, and
oh man,
and all those cool. There's another song on there that's kind of I can't think of it. I'd need the track listing too, but yeah, it was a 5150 is, I think, was, for me personally, that was the best of that era of the Sammy era. 5150 was kind of the defining one for me too. What about you, Benting? What do you got for a rock album?
My first one is Frank Zappa's Hot Rats.
Oh man.
And I've never been a Zappa guy. Never. I don't know anything about him. I mean, enough.
It was the Peaches and Regalia, the jazzy first song with the xylophone and everything. That grabbed me first. And then Willie the Pimp has Captain Beefheart. It's my favorite Zappa record. And yeah.
Great call.
And Zappa's that guy too, that so many people that I respect, whose opinions I really respect, love Frank Zappa. Yeah. And as a person, my Frank Zappa connection came during the PMRC trial.
Yeah.
Right when he spoke on Capitol Hill, and he was just an eloquent speaker, and just really, he was winning for me and my stoner friends. We're like, all right, Frank's gonna say rock and roll for us.
Him and Dee Snider and Ice-T, man, those
amazing,
guys.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
I just today somebody posted the original Filthy 15, right, which was Tipper Gore's original.
That's right.
Her original list of pornographic songs, which I'm sure all rocketed to #1 when that came out.
Yeah.
But
Campbell.
Yeah, just so cool. Yeah. Wow.
Man.
All right. My pick is pretty. This is bordering on an NMD pick because it's so weird and obscure 80s rock. But it was a band called the Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah.
A record called Nobody Said It Was Easy. And to describe them to the person who's never heard them, they're what Blackberry Smoke became, kind of that vibe. They were like that. They lived in a place kind of like the Black Crowes a little bit. They were a bluesy based slide guitars, really raw. And they came in a time when music was super polished but yet close enough to Guns N' Roses, where we all kind of pretended that Guns N' Roses made music raw again and real and street and all those great things we said about them. Four Horsemen lived right there, and they I'm still, on social media friends with a couple members of that band, and they were just they would tour like as an opening act. You'd see, I saw a band called
them with Junkyard at the Club Eastbrook.
Yeah, Club Eastbrook.
No kidding.
Good
Club
reference,
Eastbrook.
Dude. Good reference, dude. Did you go to the VU afterwards, Scott? Did you?
No,
go to
I did not.
Okay.
I was not 21 yet.
All right. Yeah, so that was my pick. Let's move on to pop. Kiff, what do you got? Pop. What's your go-to?
Jeez. Pop. Okay. My go-to pop is dude, I freaking hang on a second. I have to make sure I get the name right because the images in my head of the cover album. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. I'm so
no.
Not prepared.
That's all right.
What is it? There it is. It's Madonna's album Ray of Light. It's her collaboration with William Orbit. It was this transition from her pop, super pop time into this electronic fusion. She started to get into Kabbalah, which I'm not into at all, but there was a settling in her music where it was crossing into this very cool electronic energy. And hearing Madonna's vocals and her writing, like there's so much great energy pouring out of that album. I return to it often.
What was the single? Was Ray of Light the big single? I can see the video of her.
Yeah, Ray of Light is one of the singles. Frozen is a minor key track that comes out of that. But Ray of Light is a big track out of it. I'm going down to the track listing right now just to be able to get there. But Frozen was one of them. Substitute for Love is another piece that's just kind of about, it's very confessional, and it's about how fame has become this replacement for satisfaction in her life.
Oh, wow.
How her relationship to the crowd and to her fandom and all this other kind of stuff has been that for her. Nothing Really Matters is another track that's just like, it's a up tempo, down tempo. It's really magnificent. She shifted gears after that, I think, with music, that album. And there's some great dance stuff after that, but I think that Ray of Light is one of the more personal albums that she did. And I think it's fabulous. The other another pairing with that would, I think, dude, I love Lady Gaga's album Art Pop. Not many people do, but that album is very similar in this respect to.
You can see those connections. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
And
nice.
I really do love those fusions. Yeah.
That's killer. Scott, what about you? What you got for pop?
Mine is called God Shuffled His Feet by the Crash Test Dummies.
I only know the one tune.
I only know song.
I know that and another too, but yeah, the song is on there.
Yeah, that's on there. I mean, it's not the best song. The title track is great.
Is his voice always in that low octave?
Yes.
Does he? He's always, that's his thing.
Brad, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Afternoons and Coffee Spoons is a great song. The title track, When I Go Out with Artists, is a great song. How Does a Duck Know? Just fantastic writing, and the
quirky as hell. But there was a real window where you could be the Crash Test Dummies, or you could be the Proclaimers, or you could be one of these weird ass
the first
bands.
The first record, The Ghosts That Haunt Me, had the Superman song on it.
I remember that.
Yep.
Wow.
Both great records, but Ghosts That Haunt Me is just it's a go-to fall record for me too.
Oh, so you're coming into your time.
Great call. Great. I love Scott. I love that. Like, yeah, but the fall album, idea is great. Like there are seasons for certain albums that you just kind of like
we had a whole
brush
show
it out.
about it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did Tom Waits' Bone Machine show up in that's
Probably
my fall album.
Probably in Scott's. Yeah.
That is an
cool.
October album right there. October 12 is when you pull out Bone Machine and put it out.
I know John had
sounds
King's
like dry
X.
leaves.
Yeah, King's X was one of mine for sure. Yeah. It's almost like getting your Elf on a Shelf out during Christmas, right? You're like, right. I better get that Cheap Trick Heaven Tonight album out. It's getting to be that time. I'm wearing long sleeves. My pop pick, and I'm going to tie this into the Filthy 15 that I read today, and it triggered how good this album is Cyndi Lauper's She's So Unusual.
Yeah.
Which
7 singles is there?
There's 4 top 10s.
Wow.
And the thing about her is, again, if you can, and it's hard to go back to that, right? But seeing her, like, she was not like Madonna, where Madonna was this traditionally, I mean, she was an attractive woman. She was kind of sexualized a little bit. Cyndi Lauper looked like a bag lady. But yet within, as much as my high school had some, it's funny, it's like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? 7 girls at Ridgemont have adopted the Pat Benatar look. Well, we had a lot of Madonnas. We were thick with Madonnas, right? With the gloves, the whole bit.
Yep.
And then She's So Unusual. We had some Cyndi Laupers. There were some people who kind of found their place in Cyndi Lauper's thing, which was quirky and weird, and then tied into professional wrestling and WrestleMania. I mean, she had this vision, but the songs. So, you had Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which again is I just listening to it. It's such a fun song and cool and certainly kind of empowering.
Yeah.
It had Time After Time, that ballad. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The song I had forgot about was this kind of upbeat thing called Money Changes Everything.
Yeah.
It was a single, it was really good. But the one that was on the Filthy 15,
She Bop.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And so, and if you look through that list, and I posted it on my Facebook page today, the Filthy 15. I mean, it's Wasp and Motley Crue and Venom and Slayer, and then you get boom, there's Cyndi Lauper, She Bop on there. It's like, but yeah, I just think I've always thought Cyndi Lauper has if you strip all of it away, I think her voice is very unique and cool. And and the other thing about Cyndi Lauper is I can still hear in my head her part on what was it? We Are the World.
Yeah.
Remember she had that? Yeah.
It's a choice we're making. Yeah.
Whoa,
let's realize when a change can only come. Because she sings right after Huey Lewis.
Yes.
And then Kim Carnes follows up with When We. Huey goes, stand together as one. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And I think Cyndi does her thing in there.
Yeah.
And it's the 3 of them. Yeah. Kill it.
Yeah. Did you see that documentary, by the way, on Netflix?
It's great.
Boy, is it good.
It's great.
It's terrific.
It's great. I can't imagine. I can't even imagine what the cocaine budget was.
Oh my God.
So moving on. What about you? Got anything, Kiff, country wise that
you
moves
bet
you?
I do. Absolutely. Right. I've got again, because I can't make decisions, I have 2.
Okay.
My first one is why am I getting choked up? Johnny Cash's American Recordings. All of them. All of them that he did with Rick Rubin. They're just so raw and beautiful. Just great storytelling. And even as he's doing everything from Sting to his own work to 9 Inch Nails, everything is Petty. Just Nick Cave. It's just breathtaking collection of music.
And Johnny Cash, he stole some, and here's what I'm going to say. He stole some songs from people. He didn't mean to, but all of a sudden he sang it, and it was a Johnny Cash. Even Trent Reznor has been like, that's not my song anymore. And I actually think I heard someone like Chris Cornell say it about Cash's Rusty Cage. His Petty covers were great. I remember that first American Recordings had Delia's Gone on it, that traditional tune, and it's really good.
Yes.
And it resurrected Johnny Cash. I mean,
Yeah.
I it's hard to imagine a world, right? Excuse me.
Yeah.
With where Johnny Cash wasn't as icon. I mean, he's always been an icon, right? He's a man in black.
Yeah.
But when those American recordings came out, by young people, quote unquote, and the pop, the listening populace, no one was buying Johnny Cash. Guys like
Right.
Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, they were getting dropped from their record labels. George Jones,
Wow.
and he pairs up with Rick Rubin, and I mean, I've seen tons of artists gravitate toward Rick Rubin, and sometimes I think they want what Johnny Cash got.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they don't have what Johnny Cash had.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Interpreter of songs. Yeah.
The soul, the kind of the openness, the trust, the
openness.
Source,
yeah, that's well put.
And the just the instrument, the weathered old guitar of Johnny Cash's person.
Yeah.
Right. Of the artist of just you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
killer.
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
His Mercy Seat cover of Nick Cave's version of, when you hear Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds do the Mercy Seat, it's spectacular, but you can't quite make out the impact of it. But Johnny's cover of it is, again, like another one of those songs. My companion piece to this is another acoustic album, but it's Dwight Yoakam's acoustic album that is basically a greatest hits, but it's Dwight Yoakam acoustic album.
Is it Peaches?
.net?
No, it's
.net. Yeah.
.net,
yeah.
and it's the CD looks like you burned it, and it's just printed acoustic cup. Man, what a spectacular album! Everything in it,
Joe Bakersfield, yeah.
Oh, he's he was a savior to the genre. He really was.
Boy, I love Dwight.
What about you, Scott? What you're looking at?
The best of Jim Reeves.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's classic. What's your favorite cut on that best of?
Four Walls, He'll Have to Go.
He'll Have to Go.
I mean, that song, The Blizzard, is so sad. Oh my God.
Man, He'll Have to Go is a great song.
Am I Losing You? His Danny Boy is good. I mean, just Jim Reeves, that voice it's got to be on. If you had an old classic Mount Rushmore, Jim Reeves has got to be up there.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them, but back then too, a lot of those guys and a lot of those artists were interpreters of songs. So they were, there were writers, they were getting their work from, and that's a special person, I think, who can be an interpreter of songs, and yet it feels like Johnny Cash.
Doesn't it feel like it's his?
It feels like Hurt is about him, right?
Yeah.
He didn't write it,
Did you see, I'm sure you saw the music video that Mark Romanek directed, right? Of Hurt. I mean, it's just that
haunting.
Contributes to that stamp of
I can't separate them.
Yeah.
Very good. Wow. And we're back to Cash. See, we stole your thunder.
I'm sorry, Scott.
That's
Jim
all
Reeves, he does belong on the Mount Rushmore.
He does.
Well, my pick of country, I don't believe he belongs on the Mount Rushmore, although he's a great artist with a lineage as impressive as anybody's. But my pick was Hank Williams III, Rising Outlaw.
Oh, man.
It was his first one.
Solo, yeah.
Where he had, and it's so funny, the model for these guys to talk about that Mount Rushmore. Hank Williams is that Mount Rushmore. I mean, he could be all the places. But the thing is, when Hank Williams Jr. comes out, he comes out mimicking Hank Sr. He's doing complete shows of Hank Sr. songs. When Hank III comes out, same thing. They're all, and people loved Hank Williams Jr. when he was doing his dad's songs. That generation of people who grew up with Hank Williams and lost Hank Williams loved that, and the nostalgia. But Hank Williams III is closer tied to Hank Williams, to Hank Sr. He's just in spirit and look. I mean, I remember, I don't know, and I'm Connie Francis or whoever it was, some old artist backstage ran into,
Minnie
and
Pearl.
it might even, is that who it was who said,
Minnie
"Boy,
Pearl.
you're a
Minnie
ghost"?
Pearl.
She said she thought she saw a ghost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, and said to him, "Boy, you're a ghost."
Yep.
Yeah. I just got chills. What a great line. So yeah,
Beautiful.
Hank III. Moving on to our R&B, rap, blues, etc. Cutout bin.
Cutout bin.
What do you got, Kiff?
Oh, this is so hard. This is my favorite genre of all of them.
Okay.
I'll give a quick shout out to Club Eastbrook because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I saw BB King there live and interviewed him after in between shows when I was at Calvin and in between. And what an amazing experience. And I wish I knew more about his connection to Elvis back then too, because I had no idea about his relationship to Elvis and Memphis Blues. I only knew about him because of the Blues Brothers and that connection.
Okay.
But BB King was just a legend, and I love blues from him. But I needed to give a shout out to BB King and his catalog. But when it comes to albums, my hero pick and then my Batman and then my Robin pick.
Okay.
My Batman pick is Prince's album Sign of the Times.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just undefeated. I've said that about every album on my list, but Sign of the Times is one of those albums that I could just hit play on over and over, or flip side A back over and start over. It's
been on, I've had it on lists on this show for sure,
dude. And they're re-releasing the concert film on IMAX in 2 weeks. Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, it's worth going. Look in your local listings to see if it's coming near you. It's a tremendous concert film, but Prince Sign of the Times is just spectacular. It's just it's a smorgasbord. The whole album. There's so much there. From Housequake to The Cross to the title track to
I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man.
Coffee. I Could Never take the Place of Your Man.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Good pick.
Thank you. My hip hop is my Robin, and I am a massive Public Enemy fan, but when they separated for a second, the biography of Mr. Chuck by Chuck D is a masterpiece. Chuck by himself. It begins with, he samples Jack Nicholson from Batman, and it is just, to hear Chuck without Flav is a trip, and it is so positive and it's a brilliant album. Check it out. The biography of Mr. Chuck by Chuck D.
Cool.
If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me.
What a great line.
It's the best, man. Yeah. I love it. It's solidly late 80s, early 90s hip hop. And it's my pick.
Gold. Well, wow, that I got to check out. What about you, Scott?
Portrait of Jazz.
Always with
Bill
this
Evans trio.
Always this guy and his jazz.
Scott, you are blowing my mind today, dude.
Scott is these. I will tell you, Kiff. These moments with Scott Benting are very thick with things like this. With these, every Scott Benting pick in every category should probably be his NMD pick, because it's the only picks he's everything with this guy. And I don't care if it's the most. I'm trying to think of who the most popular artist of all time. I mean, Michael Jackson, whomever. Scott would be like, it's Michael Jackson, but it's this bootleg you've never heard. It's Michael Jackson's. He's at the Supper Club in New York City. He did a jazz set at 1:30 in the morning. And Scott would have that. And then he'd tell you who played drums and piano on it with Michael. Is that not true, Benting? Come on.
That's true.
That's you.
This is but this is my favorite trio, John. Scott LaFaro on bass, Paul Modian on drums. They do the version, the blue and green, that ends up on Kind of Blue with Miles Davis. That's on here. Autumn Leaves, Witchcraft, Come Rain or Come Shine. This album is a must own if you're a Bill Evans fan, but for nothing else, this trio is my all-time favorite trio.
You've hipped my son to them for sure.
Amazing.
My pick is a blues, and this is about as loosely blues as it can be. It could live in the pop realm, but fortunately the two guitar players in this band had enough pedigree. They were blues artists for sure. The band was called the Archangels.
Oh, Charlie Sexton.
It was Charlie Sexton, Doyle Bramhall II, and then the Double Trouble, the rhythm section for Steve Ray Vaughan. They've had a couple albums. The first album, the one I'm talking about, was self-titled, named after the Austin rehearsal complex. That's where they practiced. That's why they're the Archangels. And I'm a Charlie Sexton fanatic. Had a career in the '80s, kind of a gothy, poofy haired sort of dude. Ended up playing with Bowie on the Glass Spiders tour. Charlie Sexton's most recent gig was Bob Dylan. He's been with Dylan for years. He's not with him right now. This stuff is pretty Texas blues, upbeat, poppy enough that it's accessible. But yeah, I'm a big Archangels fan, and I'll always love Charlie Sexton. So definitely one to check out. Now we move on to our NMD pick. Your quirky, Benting's super excited because he probably got an album that someone brought back from the moon. But
nope, it's very mainstream.
Ooh, Scott, I'm excited. What do you got, Kiff?
All right, I as per usual, I have two.
Okay.
First of all, I'm a huge soundtrack fan. I love movie soundtracks because I live in movies and work in them. This particular artist, his name is Michael Giacchino. He is the composer behind everything from Star Trek, the reboot, J.J. Abrams reboot, to Werewolf by Night, to Speed Racer, to Lost. He worked a ton with J.J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof. His son Mick just did the Penguin. He did the Batman, and he recently did this collection for. I just want to get the title correct. Exotic Sounds, Exotic Themes. The album is called Exotic Themes for the Silver Screen.
Ooh.
And it's by Michael Giacchino, and his last name is spelled Giacchino. And he's a very prolific composer, but what Exotic Themes is he took his favorite style of music, 1950s exotica, popularized by, the Martin Denny's of the world, that kind of Hawaiian music that brought back from World War II.
Arthur Lyman, yep.
Exactly. And took that style and recomposed some of his themes from Up, from Ratatouille, from Lost, etc., in that style, with a group of 9-10 musicians who are brilliant studio musicians from Hollywood, and release these albums. It is a delight. And in fact, they just did for Fantastic Four, they released that as well in that style. So if you're a fan of that kind of, it's a perfect tiki torch, late summer, hanging out in the backyard, barbecue with friends, chill vibe, exotic themes from the silver screen by Michael Giacchino. There's two versions, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 2 just dropped. We saw them in concert the week of Comic-Con down at UC San Diego. I think it's absolutely delightful and super unusual.
Nice.
Yeah.
My second pick is a band, a European experimental folk band from Copenhagen called Heilung. They're spelled Heilung, and they are from Copenhagen. They did the music for the video game, Hellblade 2, and they have they've done maybe 5 or 6 albums. The albums are based on texts and runic inscriptions from the Iron Age and Viking Age, and it's like throat singing and chanting. It is some of the most hypnotic, fascinating music. What I really dig about this, one of the albums, for example, is called Lifa, which is a live concert album, Lifa. When you look at them on stage, you're like, am I watching a pagan ritual? Maybe. But most of it is it's kind of German folk music. What struck me about it was, I'm married to an African American woman, and as someone who is white, I come from a European culture. And this is a very short cul-de-sac. We were at Disney World at the Animal Kingdom in the Avatar land. And there were a bunch of white kids playing on the drums at the Avatar land. And Sherry was like, I don't know, that feels like cultural appropriation. And I was like, yeah, I understand that, but it's also like these kids, we're from a European background where we have been separated from any indigenous connection, any connection to the earth. Our background is like Dutch farmers. We don't have any culture of hitting things anymore. And African culture still has that. Native cultures, Hispanic culture, so many different cultures still has a connection to the land where we don't necessarily have that. And connecting, and I narrated a book about Vikings maybe a year and a half ago, and it was really interesting to reconnect to that to that part of myself through that, and through that discussion. What I loved about what Jim Cameron was doing with Avatar was kind of creating a safe space of saying it's okay to reconnect to the earth, even if it's a fictitious that still is it's vital, and we want to I feel that when I go among trees and things, but I don't have that direct connection anymore. It's so far removed by history and by colonization and movement. So what I love about Heilung is that it's a bridge back to that kind of connection of hitting things and chanting, and it does feel like a connection to the earth. And I think it's a fascinating band, and I think it's worth checking out. And they're
got it written down right here.
Awesome. Check them out. It's a trip, dude. Killer. It's a trip. But that's those are my wild card picks.
Wow. Benting, and now the one day you're like, oh, I'm going to be kind of mainstream. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, it's my all-time favorite movie. So the soundtrack to Stand By Me.
Wow, Scott.
What a great pick.
What a great pick. Yeah, that's not like you. That's not, soundtracks are not, you're not usually throwing, you can be pretty protective.
That soundtrack fits with that movie so well. I mean, Kiff, we had a guy on, his name is Sasha Chaban. He's a conductor. He works in Hollywood a lot. He's done stuff with Netflix, and we had him on to do this too for a pick 5. He picked his favorite music in movie scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because that's kind of his thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But yeah, Stand By Me. I mean,
that is really
coming up on almost the 40th anniversary of that movie.
Holy hey man, mackerel, you have really that sitting there? Will you rattle a couple things off that?
Oh.
Every day, let the good times roll. Come go with me, the Dell Vikings. Then Whispering Bells, the Dell Vikings. Get a job, Lollipop, Yakety Yak.
Lollipop, you can see that right now. Yeah.
Mr. Lee, and then Stand By Me.
Mr. Lee.
Which it was not even going to be called Stand By Me, and you might know this, Kiff, already, but the rumor I heard was the director was walking out and Kiefer Sutherland was teaching Stand By Me to River Phoenix on guitar.
No shit. Wow.
And he changed the name of the movie to Stand By Me because of that.
Wow, that's cool. I've never heard that either.
That he saw there. Yeah.
I remember hearing that it was originally called The Body.
Yeah, River Phoenix.
Which I just heard Kiff say. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like they were taking a break and Kiefer was showing him stuff on guitar, and he was trying to teach him Stand By Me.
No kidding. Cool. Wow.
Beautiful. It's so funny, Scott, as you were listing the tracks, I could hear every single one of those songs.
And
I know that soundtrack so well too. And
I can picture the scenes in my head.
Everyone, like just so fast.
Yep.
Like walking through the water,
walking down the train tracks. Yep.
Cool. Well, I
actually met Jerry O'Connell on a show.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
Was it a good experience?
Yeah, he was great.
Oh, cool.
He was terrific. Yeah.
What was it like working with The Rock?
I never got to meet him. We did one Zoom where he was part of that, but he shot all of his bits separate. He shot all of his stuff in LA, or I'm sorry, in Atlanta, while we were shooting in Australia for season 2. And then season 3, he shot everything right before we got there because he was so busy shooting Black Adam. So we really didn't get to interact with him much. Yeah. That's cool. But a few of our people did.
My final pick is a band. It's funny, Scott, that you had mentioned Crash Test Dummies, because this band, their singer sings in that register, which is a very rare. I mean, the typical has an alto kind of voice in there. You hear a lot of things. You don't get a lot of those really super, heavy metal guys, I guess, with their screaming and carrying on, but you don't get a lot of the really high Tiny Tim's or the really low Johnny Cash's. This guy sings in the lower register. The band's called Big Back 40. Have you ever heard of them, Scott?
I think so.
They have,
is that a record?
Yes, that's the album I have. They're very cool. It's just cool to hear. It's Americana, rootsy rock and roll, but to hear someone sing in that voice gives. They have a cover of a song called "Look at Miss Ohio," and I've heard the song by Gillian Welsh a million times, and then their cover. This low voice gives everything a different weight. Everything seems more serious, for lack of a better term. It would be really hard to sing, well, great, can you imagine if it was instead of, might as well jump, it was might as well jump or whatever, it'd have, now jump seems totally different, right?
Yeah.
The 84 Van Halen, David Lee Roth, it's I'm jumping up to have a good time or whatever. But if you gave it to Johnny Cash on American Recordings, Jump would be a different song. Yes. Right? Rusty Cage is a different song because of Johnny Cash. Hurt was a different song because of that voice gave everything a different weight. And that's what this Big Back 40 record is like. So Bested by Big Back 40 was my final pick. Kiff, awesome. Dude, thank you so much, man.
Oh,
how
John,
fun.
Scott, thank you so much for having me on. This was just a delight. I love music and love talking about it. And so often when I go on shows, I talk about voiceover and talk about cartoons, which I love talking about, but it's always so much fun to talk about so many other things, in particular, just fandom of music and recording and the music. Well, different artists is just the best, man.
Right. We had that conversation before you came on. John said, is he a musician? I said, no. I just
my guess is,
but
my guess is your vocation.
Yeah.
You hear things as musician, you'll hear musicians all the time say stuff like, well, it's hard for me to listen to music, right? Because, and my son says it. He's like, God, as soon as I hear a song, I'm picking the time signature, what the drums might be doing. And I do that too. In your vocation, you probably hear music differently because you hear how the voice works differently. And that's a unique thing. So music.
I think that's true. And also I direct a lot. So a big part of my job as a director, in particular, I was directing sketch comedy at Second City, was selecting music to marry with scenes.
Yeah.
And choosing things that would pair with it, that would match the tone and match the vibe, and what would play in contrast, what would be very serious. I remember using a piece of music from Clint Mansell's soundtrack to The Fountain, and it's this big operatic, dynamic, minor key thing where Hugh Jackman is exploding in the film, and the bit is this kid finally having the nerve to jump off a high dive. And, that's the contrast. And, and it played so beautifully because of the stakes versus how little what was happening on stage was, or, that kind of stuff. So I really love especially since I started collecting vinyl. It's changed so much of my appreciation for music, and just shutting up and turning my ears on and just being bathed in sound. It's I love it. So this was great, and you guys gave me so many fantastic recommendations today.
And same for us too. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Thank you for being here. Scott, you got any last words for us today?
Running into you like this without warning is like catching a sniff of tequila in the morning.
All right. Thanks a lot. Kiff, thank you so much, man. See you guys later.
Thanks, boys. Great to see you, Scott. Great to meet you, John. Take care, fellas.
See ya.